Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. Today I'm going to be going over my 10 most hated teams in Grand Arena. Now it's not just going to be 10, teams across the board, like only ground teams, but it's going to be ground and a couple of fleets. So it's 10 total, but a couple fleets, whole bunch of squads, yada yada yada. So, team numero uno, to absolutely no one's surprise, would be a toss-up between Jabba and JTR and Rey. Jabba, they designed all of his attack animations with Boosh and Chrysanthemum and Skiff to be extremely, extremely slow. Like, even at 3 times speed or whatever the max speed is for the game, their attacks take forever to go. And I know a lot of people were complaining about that with Nisa's event today, with it lagging out constantly and all that stuff, and just taking forever for her attacks to go, like the animations to go through. So it seems like CG is adopting the whole timeout meta is what people are thinking of, like, oh, if we make the animation slow even at, the maximum speed that the game can, go, then they'll time out or whatever. Please just speed up the animations on either make the animations faster or speed up the game processing speed, because Jabba teams, especially now with the defense datacron, probably will have the propensity of timing people out more frequently, just because with the amount of defense you have to chug through to kill Jabba as it is. And also, I'm just not a fan of a lot of assist out of turn teams and all that, so that's my biggest complaint I have for Jabba. Rey, on the other hand, I know I'm going for Rey. I know I said that and all that fun stuff, yada yada. Ooh, he's finally going for Rey. It's taking him long enough. Rey is just a whole different can of worms. She's built for basically being an defensive juggernaut with loads of offense and survivability with health, and just powering through your whole team with the whirlwinds and the stupid her ult that being able to basically decimate people and all that. So it's annoying as all can be, but this whirlwind is just the biggest killer of things as it is, because she can proc it several times in a row if a lot of her allies are falling down below the threshold that needs to proc, which is whenever an ally drops below 60% health since the last was used. So, lovely. But yeah, those two I don't like. I don't like the way Jabba's animations take forever. Rey being able to nuke people really easily is not helped, and then the fact that, you have to hope C can survive. I mean, he can survive now with the 15% protection and health datacron. That'll help him. Starkiller can probably do it, maybe. I think Gas is able to do it a little bit more easily now, but haven't really tested that, so don't hold that too much. Don't hold that against me. But anyways, next team, Lord Vader. It doesn't matter if it's 5v5, 3v3. He can be the proper headache if you're not prepared to kill him with a certain team or whatever else, or depending on what your opponent throws on defense. Especially with the Dotcron and 3s, it is a nightmare, because you're having to do Finnick, like Boba, and then a third, and hope you can survive long enough. And if he has Maul or Thrawn on the team with Royal Guard, things get a lot more interesting, because Thrawn can fracture, Maul can just rip through someone like no tomorrow, and then you're down a character against Lord Vader, who will be slowly ramping up anyways to start decimating you once he gets in and out of ult, several times over. So in 5v5 he's a little easier to handle with bounty hunters, I will give him that. But like I said, with this Datacron set, this is for, I guess the best way to describe this list would be like for July 2024, like my 10 most disliked teams. But yeah. With that 15% health protection Datacron on top of the defense you can get from it, the doubt or the no revives and all that, I mean, there's a litany of roles for level 6 you can run with Lord Vader, the ability block one, and make this team more difficult than needed be. Also, before I completely forget and get too deep into the video, do not forget to hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subs, and I am slowly encroaching on 300, so just don't forget to hit subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. Anyways, moving on to the next team, Qui-Gon Jinn. Oh boy. So, a lot of people seem to be running faster and faster Anakins and Ki-Adi-Mundis under Qui-Gon, because if they can outspeed your Echo, then they can go first and start getting out big damage numbers and causing you issues, especially in 3v3. 5v5 is not as much of an issue because you can run Wrecker and have him tank some of the hits if he doesn't get nuked out of the game by, you know, a high offensed Anakin or whatever. Mine is not highly offensed, like rolled, like only just over 9k, so not the best, but he can get the job done. But like, the amount of times in Grand Arena I've had Qui-Gon Jinn teams cause me to use more than one team is more than I can count on one hand at the moment. It is ridiculous how many times I can think of off the top of my head that I've had to deal with a two-shot Qui-Gon team. Moving on next is a team not a lot of people will have worked on at the moment, but will be eventually. It'll be Cere. Kylo Ren is there at the moment just because he's probably... He's not... I mean, he is a really good 5th right now. He doesn't really else... He doesn't have a... He doesn't have a home elsewhere at the moment. And... I mean, you can switch him for an Inquisitor you're not using. I mean, eventually Malicos will be taking his spot anyways, but until then, Kylo Ren will be there. And this team as a whole, even though they might not be fast, Fulcrum and Scavenger Ray can do a lot of damage to you. Just because of Fulcrum, with her Perseverance, with the Meditate, gaining this and every non-unique buff that are present all on the allies for 2 turns. Then whenever she does Whirlwind, that is all gets shredded off of her, and she does more damage for each buff that was dispelled off of her. She can do a lot of damage really quickly. She's very, very busted. Now, will I be giving her the Perseverance on me? No, because with it, you can run her and Cal if you really wanted to, or you can run Fulcrum in a Cere team, I guess in Territory War if you want to, because of Cal's Omicron, negating the whole, all the negative effects that Ahsoka's Ami has in Territory Wars. Even like, and also it says this effect persists through the feat, so I could see eventually that there will be like a zone of Cal, Cere Cal, Ahsoka Fulcrum teams, or they can just take him on offense to like Fulcrum herself and shred Starkiller. But I mean, there are teams apparently that can beat this pretty easily. Bad Batch does really well. Finnick Bounty Hunters can. I don't know if they can survive in 5v5, but in 3v3 they can kind of get going and killing, but I feel like Bad Batch would be the best bet. Then what are you going to use against Qui-Gon? And then you start getting into the issue of what are you going to use against this team and that team, and it seems like there's more and more teams coming out that don't have counters yet, or they take existing counters away from other teams, you know. Up next, Sortie. She's here by herself just because Sortie-led teams are timeout risk. Unless, like I said, with Cere, unless you're willing to sacrifice a team like Bad Batch for fighting her instead of... So, like I said, Sortie, you run Bad Batch against her really well. Jedi Revan does okay. It's just, you know, Wampa can do well, but the problem is with her stacking protection up from the VIP treatment stuff, you know, she just keeps continuously ramping protection up, stacking at max 250%. That is a lot of protection up. I mean, eventually, yes, she does die to dots, but it takes a long time to do that. And it doesn't matter what droid she has with her, she is a nuisance and to not be taken lightly against. Up next, Finn and Zorri teams. I had one almost ruin my day in 3v3. Because I put the wrong Finn in the leader slot. Whoops. I just realized that. Yeah, Finn and Zorri teams. What is there to say? Because the fact that Zorri's Omni procs every time they drop below whatever threshold it's supposed to be, I cannot remember. But like whenever they drop below 100% health, they gain 100% TM, and they gain, you know, damage immunity and all that stuff. That Ami is quite the hassle to contend with. But that's not even an Ami. That's the Zeta on her Spice Runner skills. Whoopsie daisies. There's the More of Us one, so I'm thinking of. That's expose stuff, but you know what I mean. Zorri as a whole is just annoying. And then with Inspired blapping all over the team, Resistance Hero Finn and Poe will be doing more damage. And then the other two Finn and Poes are just kind of there doing their own little thing. But yeah, Finn and Zorri teams will probably become more prevalent as more people get Zorri finished farmed. I'm trying to get her done, it's just her drop rate is hit or miss most days for me, so I'm just taking my time on it. Up next are the final ground team, I guess you want to call it, are Tuskens. Where do I start with Tuskens? I'm happy that their Datacron is going to be going away next month because the stupid, you know, getting the bonus stacks of whatever the buff is supposed to be called. What is it? What does Warrior get? Like, 10 more stacks of momentum. Every time she gets that, she gets, whenever, if you have this on me, if you have this Datacron, you're basically really set because you can throw it on defense and people are going to trip up on it. And I'm not the biggest fan, personally, of this team being able to stun you whenever they get X amount of momentum, and then the fact that I got TM looped by a stupid Boba Fett Scion of Django in 3v3 tells you a lot. But I mean, the team is fun. It's a very interesting team, don't get me wrong. The Datacron made them like a step higher than they really needed to be, but luckily it goes away in August, so it's kind of a moot point. But they're just here because they can be a persistent nuisance. And again, falling back onto one of my earlier points, you have to think of a team that you're going to use elsewhere with more and more people getting Reba. You could use Treya here against Tuskens if you wanted, but like, then what do you do against Reba? Because Reba requires Treya and Savage and all that stuff, so you got to decide what you want to do. But that wraps it up for the ground teams. Now for fleets. They will not be the most shocking of things. The Negotiator and the Profundity fleets. Start with the Negotiator. I don't like the stupid, what is this heal? The unending loyalty. The fact that it was bugged for the longest time and CG did not care about it until the Executor was coming out tells you a lot about where their priorities were for fleets. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Anakin can be quite the nuisance in this fleet with his damage output and all that fun stuff. And the fact that you have the cleansers with Plo and Rex can taunt as well, and then it's just a myriad of things with this fleet. It's an easy fleet to contend with now, but like, if people run 5s out front, then your Empire under Tarkin's going to struggle some, because he'll be going first, and then you'll be like, now I'm on the back footing, because then Anakin might be going before you can even start getting your like debuffs going and all that, or getting the Scythe going, because you might lose the Scythe and before it can even start doing all the formation stuff. So it's an easy fleet to contend with. I luckily did not run the Negotiator in its fleet meta, like in the fleet arena meta. I went for the Malevolence, so I was able to counter it with the Malevolence, but apparently mirrors for the Negotiator were a nightmare. Speaking of nightmare mirrors, the Profundity. Oh boy. The Profundity embodies, I think, everything I dislike about Rebels, and that is assist-based teams. This entire fleet, to get its ult off, relies on assist. To get the stupid Admiral we have the plans thing done. It is like the fact that you know, to get it charged up, you have to get assist and constant assist to get it even more, like increase the download by 10%, you know. Well, that's just what the basic, but you know, whenever they assist and they start getting more and more and more assisted, it increases the download rate and all that. And then you get, we have the plans, and then, you know, you make your enemy lose the capital ship. And then the fact that the assists are not guaranteed for Rebel ships makes me beyond annoyed. So in Mirrors and Fleet Arena right now, like, it's a toss-up on who will lose their Y-Wing first, because you really don't want to run Executor against it, because if you run Dark Side ships against it, you give it 10 speed flat per Dark Side ship, including the enemy capital ship. So like, if you're running the Executor, you'll be running, if you're doing a triple attacker, that's 40 speed. If you're just doing it with the Razor Crest, Xanadu Blood, and Houndstooth, that's 30 speed still, because it's including the Executor, but that's still 30 to 40 more speed than you have, and that's, you know, an additional 30 to 40 more speed on top of what your executor would have in the first place. So, and then, yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of assist-based teams. I mean, I understand why the Rebels have it, just because, you know, it's the Rebels, but the fleet being based entirely off of that really irks me to all hell, and there's not much that can be said about it. I know the Leviathan is going to be decimating the ever-living hell out of it, because it'll have ways to get through protection and making it to where they can't assist and all that stuff, if I remember correctly. But like, yeah, we'll see how the Leviathan does against it. Did I say executor? If I did, I'm stupid. But the Leviathan's gonna cause a massive crink in plans for Profundity owners, which is fine by me. But yeah, yeah, let me know if you agree with my IA, with my most disliked teams for the month of July down in the comments below. And if you think another team should have been on the list, let me know, because obviously there's different teams that people faced at different levels of Grand Arena, Territory War, and all that. But I was just trying to think of stuff a lot of people run into on a daily basis kind of thing, or just routine basis, I guess. And yeah, if y'all enjoyed, don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later on. I hope you have a good day.